What went through your mind when you saw that?
Honest to God, the first thing that went through my mind is, oh no, not again. All right, and I say that I'm gonna give you a story.
Okay.
All right, because I'm gonna go back to August 21st of 2010. I was in Houston, Texas, with Strike Force, and to give you just a little semblance of that card, this is a card that had Tim Kennedy on it, Jacare. They were fighting each other. You had Mo Lawal against Fei Zhao at the time, Rafael Cavalcante. Bobby Lashley was on it. Dan Cormier was on it. I mean, it had some fighters on this card, but there was an instance that occurred, and it was KJ Noons who was fighting George Gurgel. And KJ Noons pulls in this oxygen thing that he had shown me, and he had shown it to me earlier. And he said, hey, John, can I use this between rounds? And I said, absolutely not. You cannot use that. That's illegal. He goes, it's just air. It's just oxygen. I said, KJ, it's something that you're trying to get an advantage with. No, you have to breathe the air that's in the arena. And then he goes to, I guess, the Texas State Athletic Commission at the time, and they tell him, yes, you can use it. So I'm not even the referee of his fight. And all of a sudden, between rounds, I see in the corner KJ Noons using this oxygen bottle and, taking hits off of it, let's say. And I go to the commission and I go, you cannot allow that to happen. And they go, yeah, we told him he could do it. I go, you realize that you are allowing him to take something that's going to give him an advantage, right? And they go, oh, it's just oxygen. Well, then later on, King Mo does the same thing against Fei Zhao, and in the end, the Texas State Athletic Commission took a beating over this oxygen bottle because it's unfair. And now I go to what occurs here in Boston, and a lot of it has to do with the guy who ends up doing this, because I went through my entire athletic career having asthma.
Yep.
It's a problem, but it's something you have to learn to deal with. Randy Couture went through his entire wrestling and fight career with asthma.
Yep.
And you have got to figure out how to control it. Now, it can be controlled. A lot of it is mental, but it definitely affects you in the fight. But unfortunately, too bad. You cannot, in the back, he can take that pre-fight because it's not something that is against the rules as far as a USADA or a person, or a PED violation. So in the back before the fight, before he comes out, he can take it. If you remember, Randy Couture used to put a mask on his face because in the early UFC, they used to put out this smoke that would, be filtering through to make it look, dramatic as someone entered it, and that stuff would give him asthma. So he would put a cover over his face. So when you have Greg Hardy, the problem with this entire thing is, this is unfortunate for Greg Hardy. He doesn't deserve it. He asked, can I use my inhaler? And a person, an inspector, and when you are that inspector, you're the inspector, you're the judge, you're the referee, whatever, you are an arm of the commission. You are a representative of that commission. And so he's not trying to cheat. In fact, Dan Cormier on air was saying, that's cheating. Okay? I just want to give Dan a little remembrance of like pushing down on a towel. Okay? Don't sit there and...
Oh, that's great.
He asked the question, can I take my inhaler? That inspector said, is it allowed? Meaning, drug-wise, he says, yes, it's USADA approved, and it is. He can take it under USADA for his asthma. It's albuterol. And Dean Thomas says, I have it in my pocket. Now, Dean should know better and say, no, you can't have that right now. But he doesn't know, especially when he's listening to a representative of the commission telling him, yeah, it's okay. They give it to Greg. He takes 1 or 2 puffs on it. He goes back out in the fight, and that is an advantage that he can't have. Part of, fighting is you got to deal with it. It's they give you water. They don't give you, certain things. And this goes back into boxing long ago. You can remember Panama Lewis, Aaron Pryor fought against Alexis Arguello and was getting beat. And Panama Lewis brings a bottle. He says, give me the special bottle. And they figured out it was actually cocaine. And he actually pours that and has him drink that little concoction.
Wow.
And this is when the whole thing of, only water, no Gatorade even and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for Greg Hardy. I really do, because, he got a win, even though, it wasn't impressive the way he wanted it to be. But the question is, how would he have performed after being told, no, you can't take it? And now going into that, he lost that last round, no doubt. So would it have been a different round? Would the fight have been different if he hadn't been able to take in that albuterol? Because that albuterol, no matter what, it's a stimulant. I take it. And it will it'll open up your lungs and you can perform better.
So my question, what's the difference between taking it during the fight? Because I have sports-induced asthma as well. And so I would take it about 20 minutes before I would walk out. And it's approved by the commission,
yes.
The doctor,
everything. It's not cheating.
Yeah, it's not cheating. Okay. Yeah, I just want to know what, because I never knew that. I knew that I never wanted my corner to whip it out in the corner and be like, yeah, let me get some. I always felt like right before the fight was plenty. It wasn't that severe, but I did realize I couldn't get deep breaths.
Yep.
When I was fighting in some fights. But I obviously through the fight just worked through it. But in the back, even when I was hitting mitts and warming up, I don't know if it was just like the excitement of the fight, whatever it was. But like you said, some of it is mental. A lot, it could be mental. Where I just felt like I needed to make sure that I had. And mine was clenbuterol. Clenbuterol versus.
Yeah. No, yours was not clenbuterol.
I don't know.
I know.
Is it albuterol?
Albuterol is the actual. So it doesn't matter if it's Ventolin or Preventol or all these different types of brands. It's albuterol is the ingredient. Okay. It used to be, you used to get it Primatene Mist. You could get over the counter.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I feel bad for Greg Hardy because he didn't do anything in trying to cheat.
Yeah.
He asked a question, can I do this? Someone that is part of that commission, that's a representative, tells him yes, and then he does it. And right away, Dan came out and says, I don't think you do it. They got Mark Ratner on the air. Mark Ratner says, no, that is illegal. You cannot do that. And that was good that he said it because you can't. But, I mean, it's one of those shame on the Massachusetts Athletic Commission, because if you don't have your people trained to know the right thing, I tell guys all the time, whenever I'm training people, I said, look, this is as simple as it gets. If you don't know the answer, say, I don't know. Don't fake it. Don't sit there and give a bullshit answer that you're not sure is right or wrong. If you don't know, say, I don't know, and go find out. There's someone that will know. And this guy, whatever, as the inspector, he just cost that guy a win on his record based upon bad information.
Yeah, question is, does he get paid his win money?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if he ends up in the end gets it, because now he doesn't get a win, and it's really funny that they're coming out saying that it's been overturned to a no contest. Mm-hmm. No athletic commission after the fight has been over and then announced, and he was announced the winner. I mean, many times you're going to have a fight announced. This fight is a no contest. Boom, based upon whatever it is. But he was announced the winner, and so normally it takes an actual meeting of that athletic commission to overturn that decision. And they're saying already that, no, it's been overturned. It's like, wow, you guys are trying to get rid of this fast because you screwed the pooch.